Hey guys, how we doing today? Okay, so this video you're gonna get me kind of working and talking here. So I have not done a Raina the Maremma video in a bit here, and I apologize for that. But life has been a little bit crazy with an almost week-long power outage. So that's been fun. But get you back on track with an update here on her and focus what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm just filling up bottles right now for bottle babies. Anyway, so as you can see from this Raina here behind me, so this is pretty much what we've been doing a couple times a day. Is when I'm outside doing chores, I bring her out with me, trying to get her used to the barn and all that jazz. She's been here less than 3 weeks, I think. I don't think it's been quite 3 weeks yet, but so I'm getting her a bit more comfortable in the barn. At first she was afraid of the barn, but now we're not really afraid of the barn anymore, but we are terrified of goats. Absolutely 100% terrified. Honestly, I've never seen a livestock guardian dog this afraid of goats before. I haven't tried introducing her to my sheep yet, just because of just the sheer logistics of where my livestock are laid out and where other dogs are and stuff like that. So I need to get working on that to see if maybe the sheep would be less intimidating to her, because the sheep are intimidating, or goats are intimidating, I'm sorry. They have horns. They just give off this era of F around and find out, because my goats are just, my does are just ornery. They just are. All right, I'll find top for my milk here. Okay, so here she is. So she's tethered. She struggles with the tether too, I'll tell you. I've never had a dog have such a hard time dealing with a tether either. I feel like she's my spirit animal. Like if I was a dog, I would be Raina. She just is kind of clumsy with it. She gets herself really tangled up in it, and then she kind of freaks out. Initially, when it would happen, she'd get tangled up, and then she'd freak out and scream and yell and try to scoot backwards as fast as she could, and it would just, of course, everything would tighten and the sky was falling. So at least now when she gets tangled up, she's more like, I'm just gonna freeze and I know somebody's gonna help me, so I'll just wait it out. So but she's just a nervous girl and a lot of separation anxiety. So as far as housebreaking goes, if I'm in the house with her, I'm letting her out frequently enough and watching her frequently enough that we're not having any accidents. But if I'm not with her, forget it. She has one spot that she'll go, and that's where she goes. We had somebody loan us a crate because she was fed in her crate at her previous home. Forget it. We had her in the crate and we left on an emergency. We had to emergency help somebody. I came back and she was like trying to eat her way out of that crate. So the crate is not a go. At this point, it's better to just leave her free roam in the house, and I'll deal with an accident when I get back in, because it's not our crate and I don't want her ruining it. It needs to go away so it doesn't get damaged, to be honest. Yes, I'm talking about you, girlfriend. She's watching the goats like get them things away from me. So let me just make sure this is recording. Okay. So the separation anxiety part, we're really going to have to work on here, because that, although I don't go anywhere a lot, I mean, I do obviously have to leave at times. So I'm honestly not sure. She tolerates my husband. She will occasionally go up to him and seek out pets, but if he tries to go up to her, forget it. It's not happening. Her number 2 choice of people, of humans, would be my daughter when she's around. And then my son, who's 9. But again, it's just like anything male. She's like, forget it. So do I think she's broken? Do I think she's ruined? No. But I think what happened was, you know, some dogs are just born naturally with some nervous kind of energy with them. You'll see that in pack settings all the time, in wild dogs. It's just, we're all born differently. Some of us are more high end, some are more chill and laid back. It's all different. So I think she probably would have been just a little bit more of a nervous energy dog anyway. And then you couple that with a human then as a first time livestock guardian dog owner. And then I'm not faulting her at all. I'm not, because she's a wonderful person, but wasn't really sure how to handle a livestock guardian dog or one quite like her. So you take an anxious dog with somebody who just is unaware of what to bring to that, and you have just a recipe of a dog that was never intentionally pulled away from that anxious nature. So she should have had above and beyond socialization, exposure, desensitizing, all of these things to just really try to lift her up and out of where she should have began. She kind of was below that line to begin with. So now she's had 2 years of just feeling like the sky is falling. So we got to work on that. We got to try to lift her out of that. So, what? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, you're a good girl, though. You are loved. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Are we going to work with some goats? I know you don't like them goats, but we have to just work on it. So, so what do we do when we have her around things that she's unsure of? Well, first of all, it's not a situation of, like, okay, another example would be, when we had our power outage, we had the last couple days, somebody had brought us a generator. So the generator was on the front steps, and generators are big and they're loud. And she was like, holy heck, this thing is here to kill everybody. So she was terrified of the generator and she didn't want to leave the house. She was so scared. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes. So you just piece it out, just chunk it out. How do you eat an elephant? Bite by bite. So you don't just drag them up to it, like tie them to the generator and you're gonna learn something, boy. Like, you don't do that, because desensitizing isn't about like, let's freak you out until you can't freak out anymore. Like, she's scared enough. Like, let's not make this stuff worse, right? So it's just slow and steady exposure. Me with her on the end of a leash, and me saying, look, it's okay. See, I can touch the generator, I can stand by the generator, and it's not attacking me. So you too shall be safe. And that's where trust comes in. Okay, human, I trust you. I've learned to trust you. I know that you're not going to hurt me. Therefore, this thing, if it's not hurting you and you say it's okay, then I will trust you. So one day she was then fine with the generator. She wasn't in love with the generator. It wasn't her best friend, but she was like, okay, I can walk back and forth past this generator now. I didn't need her on a leash to walk her past it. I could just have my hand on her collar and here we go, here, and we're going to walk past it, and it's going to be life as normal. So little things like that will freak her out. This rolly door here is really loud when you pull it down. Initially, that would just send her through the roof. But me holding onto her with a leash, look, this is the door, it goes up and down. You can walk away from it a little bit, try to get rid of it or get away from it, but you're not going to drag me. You're not going to pull me. You're not going to take off running like a crazy maniac. Like, it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be anxious. It doesn't always mean that the sky is falling. Like, it's okay to feel new things and be wary. Yes, ma'am. So that's what we're just kind of trying to work on here, is little things like that. And it's starting to rain. She's like, I don't like the rain. And the rain falling on the tin roof up there, the pole building. She's like, what is that, huh? But again, it's just little pieces of stuff to get them used to things. She's been tethered here in the barn with being able to see and hear the goats now. So behind you, behind the camera, are my goats. And so she's had to see them and hear them and watch them move. But she's still absolutely terrified of the goats. So we'll see what we can do with that. Baby steps. Just got to keep trying to work it. She may never love goats. She may never even be able to work with goats. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where we're at with it. I'm hoping it's just going to take her a little bit longer. And yes, ma'am. And we'll just kind of see. She's a great dog. She's very sweet. And we're just, like I said, we're still learning each other. It's been under 3 weeks, I think, that we've had her. Her and the house dogs are getting along okay. We're learning to deal with baby brother, the chocolate lab puppy. But the chocolate lab puppy and our other house dog do a lot of loud play. He's a puppy, so he likes to be obnoxious and stupid and play. And she has very little tolerance for that, like most livestock guardian dogs do. They like things to be status quo, nice and even. This is what I like. This is how we do it, and that's it. And so when they start getting like that, she's like, absolutely not. And she'll try to get a little firm with that. But that's normal and to be expected and just the way that it is. So I guess that's about it right now. So I was going to do some updates later today, how she's doing with leash training. Now that it's raining, I guess I'll try to dodge some raindrops in between that, get some footage of her and how she acts with the goats, maybe a little bit of that, and try to wrap my head around how I can maybe move some dogs and shift some stuff so that I can get her some access to sheep. So we'll see. She's coming along. She's a great girl. She's very sweet. I keep saying that. She's made of good stuff, but she just is. She's a really sweet girl. We've had an increase of some nuisance barking, so we're going to work on that as well. So when she's tied out in the front on her tether, if she can see our neighbors out and about, she's not a fan. So she'll bark, 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 bark. She definitely barks more than our Anatolians do, but again, I think part of that is breed. Anatolians are just known for not doing a lot of barking. Yes, ma'am. So other livestock guardian dog breeds just tend to bark more. So some of it may be her, and some of it's just anxiety. Again, excessive or nuisance barking. It's like if I run my mouth and sound big and scary, you won't even mess with me, which is good because deep inside, I don't think I could tangle with you. So a lot of times it can be an insecurity thing. So we're working on that as well. Again, trusting, bonding, working through anxieties, working through separation anxiety, and listening to the raindrops. So, all right, guys, thanks for taking a walk with us on this journey. We'll be back with you again soon.